All right, we're doing some testing here just to see if everything is working okay. Hi, Lee's living out of the norm. Can you kindly verify that my microphone is working okay? And looks like Ed Travis is here too. Ed, can you check and see if my microphone is working okay? And let's see who we got here. Ah, good. The microphone's working good, and we've got people coming in, and I'll just give things a little time to fill up with folks who want to join us, and then I'll start chatting away about my off-grid projects and all kinds of stuff like that you want to hear. Okay, so let's see who we got coming in here. We've got Jane Bray and from Vancouver Island. Hi, Jane. Welcome to another Canadian, and just hope you're doing well. Shane Michaels here, and great, good. Shane has joined me a lot here on these, and we got Thevon 1962. Hi there, and of course, big shout out to Ed. And Ed's a great friend, and he's definitely so supportive with this build. So I'm always thankful to see him here. We got Nanny Goat Acres, and things are going fine as far as hearing. That's good. And then we got Midwest Mama's Adventures. Okay, that's an interesting name. And then let's see, we got Rock Garden Ranch Homestead, and then that's good to have them here. Mike Eaton is here. Hi, Mike. Glad you're here. And Mike is working, says, speaking of Mike's, Mike is working. Good. And Rob S says, hi, Donnie. And my bet, let's see, I'm thinking Rob S is from California. And Rob, can you confirm that? And I promise I won't, reveal too much about you if you confirm that. Let's see, we've got uh, Prodigious Sub. That's an interesting name. And they're from Sierra Vista. Wow, that's close by. Wayne Johnson says, good evening. Hmm, Wayne, that makes me think that you might be in the UK or somewhere. Am I right? And we got Ken. Ken maybe is from California, and Rob has confirmed that he's from California. So, Rob, big shout out to uh, another friend of mine who you know well, of course, Joanna. So, hi, Rob. Hi, Joanna. So super to have you guys here. Seems like forever since I've seen you. No, Wayne is from Southwest Missouri. And that's right. You're 4 hours ahead or 3 hours ahead, I think. So it'd be like 4 in the afternoon, I think. Sometimes I get a little mucked up with the time zones. And Jean Ray is here, and she's from Illinois, and that's very very cool. So it's pretty windy out there, and so just a little bit of a tidbit of information. I was actually able to sneak in a little bit of work this morning, which is great, even before the winds came up. So that was excellent. And we've got Republic is here from central New Mexico. Very cool. And it looks like we have 44 people watching. Wow, that's very, very cool. And so we're going to get going here in just a minute. I'll let people pour in, but you're always welcome to pop your questions in. And I know I know some folks have had a lot of questions for me in the comments over the months, and so um, you're welcome to start putting those in. Tony Jazz says, "What's your Wi-Fi?" Tony, I've got a whole video on it, and if you go to my videos, you can you can check and see that I'm using a really cool plan from AT&T. It's called the tablet plan. And so it's designed, it's only $25 a month, which is amazing. So it's designed to run a tablet, but when they send you a SIM card for your tablet, which I have the tablet, by the way, and they'll ask you about it, I can also put it in this smart router. It's called a MoFi, MoFi. And MoFi routers work really well if you're somewhere near an AT&T tower. Turns out I'm 15 minutes away, and as the Chihuahuan Raven flies, a direct shot over to that AT&T tower. And so that means I get super fast internet. When I lived in Marin County, Arizona, Marin County, California, much slower internet than I have here. This is super fast, no videos, buffer. It's just amazing, all for $25 a month. So search for the video, and and I can't remember the title. So, but it's about Wi-Fi and that kind of thing. So forgive me. I hope you'll forgive me that I can't remember the title, but it's there and explains everything in detail and how I set it up. Let's see, and uh, Rob sent, oh, Rob sent $10. Thank you, Rob. And a really cool message. It says, and that's called Super Chat. By the way, guys, that's down below. And I wasn't even aware of that for a long time. If you go right to the bottom of your screen, there's the second icon from the left, and it just says has a little dollar bill on it. And when you click on it, then essentially it comes out, and that's really cool. So that's what Rob has done. Thank you, Rob, and I appreciate the encouragement. By the way, I won't tell everything about Rob here, but Rob is an excellent construction carpenter guy, and so his encouragement is really helpful, and so it means a lot when Rob says keep up the good work, because that's his profession, you know. Let's see who else we got. We got Offer J. There we go. Offer J has been here before, and then we got Tom in Seattle. Super. Now we're up to 57 people. Keep them coming. So I'm going to start chatting a little bit about a few things that people have mentioned. Um, and essentially, one of the things that people have mentioned, and I really felt bad. I had one guy said, "You know what, Don? I just feel really, I'm not happy. I've been watching you for a long time, and you've just stopped putting out videos, and I just don't think that's fair or appropriate." And so let's just talk about that a little bit. Sometime in the fall. It was October, I think it was. I had a little fall and cracked at least one rib, maybe a couple. So I wasn't able to do any projects. And so I didn't really have much material for videos. And that was really slow. And so, it took weeks and weeks and weeks. Finally, the ribs healed. And by the way, they're good as new. Um, and then right after that, boring you with a bit of health stuff here, guys. Right after that, I got this really crazy, it wasn't COVID that I know of, but really nasty flu, not flu, bad cold bronchial, like bronchitis, something. And it happened in mid January, and it just wouldn't go away. We're talking, I wasn't able to even do anything that required energy for, I think, 6 weeks or something. So that slowed everything up severely. So you can bet I was really looking forward to just feeling like my old self and just getting going on these projects. I mean, I've got a beautiful big old home, 16 by 40 feet, just sitting over there with no windows and doors and not the roof done. And I was just, just frustrated. And so, but, your health is your health, and you just try to take care of it and see what happens. Uh, so fortunately, I'm a sturdy old dude, and eventually, I got rid of the bad cold and stuff. Now I'm going gangbusters on working on this home. So and I'll talk a little bit about that too. But first, I want to address a few comments here. We got Tom in Seattle, and then we got Stony Creek Homestead Journey. Says hello from Tennessee. Just caught your live on my feed. Thought I'd jump in and say hi. Hey, Stony Creek Homestead Journey. So glad you're here. You know, one of the things about people from Tennessee I find is just some of the nicest, just kindest, and friendliest people I've ever met. So, anyway, um, very, very cool. Tony says you're an inspiration. Wow, that really warms the old heart. Thank you, Tony. And then Trujillo, I think is how you say that. Dallas, you can correct me if I'm saying it wrong. Dallas Trujillo says, so glad you got through all those health issues and are thriving. Sturdy is right. That's great. That's so kind. Thank you. So, so where am I at here? Um, oh, cool. And Dallas says I said the last name right. Thank you, Dallas. Um, so where are we at here? And honestly, one of the things that's been encouraging is I rewound and look at videos I was doing a year ago this time. And a year ago this time, I was working on the floor structure for that home. And you know, considering now, it's you know, it has OSB siding, well, it's not the siding, but it's OSB is it's enclosed in OSB sheathing, and all the trusses are up. All the roof sheathing is is in place, and also one of the videos you saw is I put Storm Guard from a company called GAF, Storm Guard Peel and Stick Underlayment, and I still don't know to this day why it leaked, but it did, and I paid quite a bit for it. I'm going to blame it on user error that I wasn't careful in some way putting it on. I don't know. Anyway, I won't spoil the video that will be coming up in a few weeks, but um, I did have to invest some more money, but I hope it's money well spent because I want a home that the roof doesn't leak. And so I'm going to be redoing that roof. So if you stay tuned, you'll get to see all that. So, one of the last videos I did was just showing you all the soffit work. And goodness, there is so much to building a roof. And Rob S can confirm that because he's built a good many of them from what I know. And so there's just so many parts to it. You know, once you've got your roof sheathing down, now you've got to do subfascia. So I did subfascia out of 2x4. And then, and some people said it should have been 2x6. And I'm like, okay, 2x6 are pretty heavy. And I don't think I want to work with those by myself, especially. So I used 2x4 for the subfascia. And then I cracked open the wallet and essentially bought something called hardy board, which is a combination of cement and fine wood fibers, and it's durable. It lasts for decades. It better. It's expensive. And so after the subfascia, I put up fascia with hardy board. And so then after that, I put up what's called drip edge. So it goes on and on. And then my last video, I was mentioning the big debate I ran into whether you put um, your your underlayment on top of the drip edge or underneath it, and on and on and on. So much involved to building a roof. And then when you do it by yourself, you can't check for angles and proper cuts as well as you'd like. So this morning I made a bit of a boo-boo when I was working on all that stuff, and you'll see all that. Um, but anyway, uh, the plans are we're going to get rolling with plans, and here are the plans that we're involved in right now. So making the roof so that it's totally waterproof. Um, and doing the all of the fascia on east and west sides, and then north and south gable ends. And gable ends are kind of tricky because you're way up high on a ladder. And I have no fear of heights, which is great. But I'm still, let's see, I'll be 70 in, check my calendar, hmm, about 2 months. And so, 70-year-olds on ladders is, even though I'm very careful, but it's still a little, you have to be, well, what can we say? It's a little nail biting. And so, I want to get um, those gable end gable end fascias in place and get that done. And then I have a big decision, folks. It's so windy that I sneak out. And I thought, oh, by the way, it's really cool. I'm starting to work the system now, the weather system. So it howls here at my home in my little cabin here at night. The wind howls. And then as soon as the sun comes up, there's this really cool little lull of maybe an hour or two, maybe a little more than that, but not much, where it's really quiet and there's just a whisper breeze. So that means I can run out there and go ripping up on top of that roof and do work. And so that's what I've been doing the last few days. But unfortunately, you only just get little bites done. You don't get all of what you'd like to get done. So I've had to learn to live with that. And so that's making me think because April here can be kind of windy. So, spoiler alert, I think I might, once the roof, once I test the roof and make sure it's not leaking, um, with the proper underlayment in place, I might turn my sights away from putting the steel metal on the roof and roll up my sleeves and start plumbing. Because even if it's cold and windy, I can dress accordingly, crawl under the house, work with my sewer pipes, and work with all of the plumbing that needs to happen in that building. And um, I still, I still have a lot of questions about it. I've been thankful that I've had a couple folks work with me on a plan for the plumbing, but I still need more help to design it and make sure that someone like me, a DIY guy, can do it because I'm no plumber. Now, my plumbing experience is the following. I have plumbed from my gutters over to my rainwater harvesting tank, and there's videos on that. There's some of the earlier videos, and so now I know what purple primer is and the glue and everything, and I can fit the pipes together, and I know about giving things a little bit of a quarter turn, etc. So I know enough to be dangerous about working with PVC pipe and plumbings, but I've got to learn. So I'm going to plumbing school. Well, not really. I'm watching YouTube videos and trying to learn and asking questions. So I figure while the wind is howling and I can't seem to get much roof work done, how about turning my sights onto plumbing? What do you guys think? Let me know. Okay, we got some more comments, so I'm going to check them out. The Cruise and Crew says, "Hi, Don. I'm living not far from you. Also off grid, formerly full time RV. I'm in the process of pivoting my channel to feature more off grid people and would love to interview you for my channel." Well, send me an email, the Cruise and Crew, and then we'll just kind of discuss it further and see if it works. Dallas Trujillo says, oh, that'd be cool to interview Don. I'd love to watch that. Okay, cool. Um, Ed says, I'm still a kid. Thanks, Ed. Oh, I got to tell you guys this. It's so funny. There's a pub in Tombstone that I go to occasionally, and there is a really cool guy there. His name is Pence, and he's kind of like known all over the town. And he always dresses in like an 1800 something sheriff's uniform. And anyway, Pence is 85, and he's so funny. Whenever I chat with him, and I go, Pence, I'm almost 70. He goes, oh, you're just a kid. So how fun. So that's Ed reminded me of Pence when he said that. Then we got Wayne Johnson. Consider using Pez pipe. Wayne, I am for the main. I mean, obviously for the leads into the sewer and shower, the toilet and the shower, to the and to heavy duty things that need to be have serious PVC work. I will do PVC, but for all the other stuff running from point A to point B, I'm going to be using PEX as well. So you're right. You're right on the money there. I believe you mean PEX when you say PEZ pipe. Let me know if I got it correct. PEX is PEX, as I remember right. Dallas says, I'm sure you can do it. The plumbing, you're pretty amazing. I'm not sure about amazing. I'm very stubborn. I'm very focused, and I love adventure. How about that? That I would admit to. George says, George from Tacoma, Washington. Hi, George. I hope that you're not drowned or under a big pile of snow, maybe in Tacoma. Um, and anyway, um, I know that your weather will change eventually. And Wayne says, yeah, it's PEX, right? And Wayne, I've tried PEX, just a little bit of it, just toying with it, and it does seem pretty easy to work with, and very cost effective. Goodness, I remember when I was a kid, my uncles when they were building and whatnot, they were bringing out the copper pipe here and there, and it's like, good night. Who could afford try that again. Who could afford copper pipe at this point? I don't know. Not me, that's for sure. Um, Ken says waste lines usually are ABS, saves money, and it's robust. Right. Thanks, Ken. Good point. Um, I've been using Charlotte pipe. The really it's pricey, but really meant to last for a zillion years so far. So I'll probably keep going with it because all of the expensive stuff is down already. Almost all of my sewer pipe is down, running from the cabin to the septic tank, and I've dry fitted all that already. But it's not put in place permanently yet because I still am figuring it all out. But the major kick to the gut financially is all that sewer pipe because it's 4 inch is what I ran, and that's done, or I should say, it's purchased. Um, Simply Cooking says, "Do you have an idea of your total cost for the build?" Simply Cooking, I don't. I really don't. And that reminds me, I had a person in the comments go, um, Don, essentially, I mean, they didn't say this, but it was almost inferred that I was a bit out to lunch for doing what I'm doing as opposed to just buying a modular home. And I wondered about the person, they were I wonder if they have priced modular homes these days. A 16 by 40 modular home, the cost of those these days is almost $100,000. And I do not have that money, that's for sure. Um, but uh, essentially, to answer your question, Simply Cooking, I'm not positive. I have to look through a lot of receipts, but I think I'm looking at around. So far, I think I've got about 18,000 into this home. So not as much as you would think. Um, the floor was pricey, and then the roof is very pricey. But the rest of it isn't all that bad. Um, but in the end, in the end, that home should cost less than an SUV, essentially. I mean, a brand new one. And so, but in the end, I'll do my best to roll up my sleeves and calculate all the costs, and then post that. I will tell you this though, even if you bought a uh, if you buy even the smallest mobile home these days, which and really not very well built, is not going to be anywhere near as cheap as what I'm doing. So what I've learned is with this so far is that yes, materials are annoyingly expensive. We get that, but but my my opinion at this point, and Rob S, you're welcome to comment because you're in that field, that a huge part of it is just paying skilled labor for building your home, and they deserve their money. I get they're certainly that's not it. It's just that um, you know to have someone come on site and do what I'm doing, and the end result, that home when it's done uh, on this piece of property, I've had some folks tell me, and I'm not sure exactly what it'll cost, but the guesstimates that people told me were shocking. I was like, "You're kidding. How on earth would that home cost that much?" I mean, it'll be about 1,200 square feet with the porches when it's done. And even here in this, Cochise County, where it's incredibly affordable overall, it's still pretty pricey to buy a home that size. And so, what I love and just smile every day is that I get a workout and I have to learn new skills. But in the end, just like my channel is Affordable Desert Living, this home for me is incredibly affordable. And that is a joy. It really is. And of course, the big kicker, which I've mentioned so many times, why I'm able to do this, period, is Cochise County, their permitting system called owner builder opt out, where you literally could tell the county, no, I don't want electrician inspectors coming by, not interested in plumbing inspection coming by, none of that. Just tick the box and go, you guys can come over, which they have to, and and check my septic to make sure that is to code. And then after that, just every 6 months, send them some progress pictures that you're moving forward. And they just go, well, go for it. Go, enjoy your build. And, and so that makes it incredibly affordable. And that's why I moved here, by the way. Okay, we got more uh, comments here. And George Stan Anderson, that's a good that's a good Swedish name by the looks of it. I don't know if you're Swedish, Stan, but you can comment if you like about that. Um, and essentially, um, uh, also, George says, first live chat, but I followed you from the beginning, a little of both, weather-wise. Will you have help when putting on metal roofing? George, so far, I'll tell you the help I've had with roofing. Um, I've had help with essentially primarily soffits because hardy board breaks easy if it's bent in half. And so, because it's cement fiber and it can break if it falls too. So I've had folks uh, help me with that. But your question about the metal roofing, I will get help with it um, as much as I need to, but otherwise, I want to do as much of it as I can, which is a little slower. And for safety reasons, you have to be really careful. And so I plan on getting a safety harness and being basically roped to the roof so that I can't fall even if I want to. Well, I don't want to, but I mean, even if well, anyway, roped in for safety. So safety is a big part of it. So that's to be considered, of course. So I will do what I can, but more than likely there'll be someone else helping. Um, let's see who we go. Who here we go. Sorry, and let's see. Ed Travis says it's the journey, not the destination that we remember. And I was thinking, Ed, today. I actually watched one of my older videos, and I do that just because it's fun to see what adventures I had, and then read the comments. What did people say about that adventure? And people are so encouraging. It's really cool. Nanny Goat Acres says, "Do you wish you would have moved to Arizona and bought land sooner before retirement?" Great question, Nanny Goat Acres. Honestly, I was a late bloomer as far as figuring out I better start saving and getting ready financially for retirement. So I wasn't ready. I moved here as a 65-year-old with just enough money to purchase the land and get going on and the little cabin and and the septic and get going on the big home. And so yeah, so any earlier I wouldn't have been able to afford it. But physically I would love to, or timeline wise, I'd love to be um, approaching 60 instead of approaching 70. And there just would be, the clock just does what it does. And so I have to just be realistic and thankful and go, I'll be enjoying it as long as um, that is going to happen. So, yeah. Urban Carlson says, Urban Carlson says, hello from Sweden. How are you? Hi, Urban. I'm excellent. Absolutely super. I hope you're okay. Wayne Johnson says, but you're having lots of enjoyment. No question, Wayne. Wow, it's an incredible adventure. Lee's living out of the norm. The process of building your own home is priceless. It really is. Oh, Stan, I'm so sorry. I got it wrong. You're not Swedish, you're Danish. I hope you'll forgive me. Um, and you're totally correct, Lee's living out of the norm. Just the adventure of it and learning, and just, you know, you think of yourself differently as well. I mean, I used to, as I've said many times, my skill set for building was birdhouses, bird feeders, and bookcases. But you know what I found, all of those skills still taught me how to work with wood, measure, cut, screw things together. And that real basic grade one skill set, for lack of better words, has been invaluable, I think. But I still had to, I mean, it's embarrassing, to be honest, what I didn't know when I moved here. I didn't know what a driver was. I knew what a drill was, not an impact driver. Never heard of it, and now, I use them almost daily. So very cool. Sunny Sky says, "Good to see you, Dawn." Hey, good to see you too, Sunny. And Midwest Mama's Adventure. What is your temperature out there today? We're 65 in Illinois. You're warmer. We're only about 50 here today. This is our cold, windy spring period. There's snow all over the mountains here. I can see them from my yard. And so essentially, it's going to take a while to warm up, but it can happen super fast. I think the weather guy says we're going to be 82 or something next week. So it's just springtime is all over the map here. It's 45 one day and 3 days later it's 85. Yeah, it's very hard to know what to do sometimes with all that. Okay, here we go. Um, Sandy Smith says, as a retired owner of a gutter company, please use seamless aluminum gutters. You will never have to deal with leaking seams. Sandy Smith, that's very wise. That's very helpful. I've got some ideas about it. I'm not committed, but I have some ideas about gutters at this point. Sendit says roofer's harness at Home Depot is $100. Wow. Hmm. People are so kind. I might throw it in my Amazon wish list, and I know that might sound a little bold here. It's just that I'm not. It's not about that Amazon wish list is interesting. It was never my idea. I didn't even know you could do it. It was you folks, my subscribers who just said, Don, put stuff in your Amazon wish list, and we'd love to, jump on board and support you and send stuff. And I'm like, Amazon wish list? Isn't that for weddings? I don't know. So, it's incredible what have been sent to me, what has been sent to me. And I really do my best to thank people, but sometimes it's hard because Amazon has done this stupid thing now where you can't send a thank you to anybody. So, unless I know and have an email for the person, I don't know how to say thanks to them. Um, Gordon says hello from Oregon. There we go. Hi, Gordon. Thanks so much for coming by. Um, and Sandy says they just put a commercial in. Okay. for gutters. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Um, Joel says, Don, when you work with PEX, please remember that PEX A and PEX B fittings will not go together. Please understand the differences. I prefer PEX A. Good tip. Thank you. I'm definitely going to research PEX before I start using it. Billy says, excellent. You are an inspiration, sir. Well, I so appreciate that. Super. Thank you. Okay, Dallas says, is there a video on the current little shed or tiny home you're living in now and the build on that? You mentioned it had plumbing, so it has a sink and a shower. Really interested in that too. Dallas, no, this little cabin, it's all about permitting. This little cabin, according to the county, is a shed. It's insulated, but even though I have power to it, that's run from extension cords and solar, and it's connected to solar. I have two solar generators here inside this little cabin, but it's not electric. It's not plumbed, and nor does it have electricity. Because if I go that route, the county could say, hmm, you're that's now a residence. And so you don't have a permit for that. You have a permit for your big 16 by 40 home, but you don't have a permit for that. So what I've done is done the real basics with this. I've insulated it just like you would a shed, and I get to be in it temporarily. Um, and while I'm working on my big home, because the county, again, this anything 200 square feet and smaller is a shed, and you don't need any permit for that. And uh, and you can't live in them permanently. And so, but then I have no desire to live in this little 200 square foot cabin permanently for sure. So I hope that makes sense. Um, so there's no sink and shower here. My I have no sink except for my outdoor uh, table that I use with with a plastic sink, a bucket basically, and then my shower is in a tent with so I have an outdoor shower, which gets a little cold sometimes. Let's see. Hi, Don from Port Charlotte, Florida. Where did you live before you moved to Arizona? Love the channel. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Evie Daryl. Um, I lived for 32 years in Marin County, California, um, from 1992 to 2020. And I'm Canadian. I lived in Canada for my first 35 years of life. And then I moved to California in 90, no, actually it was 91. It was just after Christmas. And then but essentially 92. So that's where I lived. It was called San Rafael. It's spelled like it's pronounced San Rafael, but it was San Rafael. So I absolutely loved it there. I still get homesick, honestly, for there because I just developed such good friends and relationships, and I just came to love it there. I really did. But could not afford it. I was renting shared a big home with other men, and it was one little room. Now that little room I rented is probably going for about 800 a month, without utilities, I believe. So it was simple. I would have had to work until I was passed away to live there, or go somewhere where it's affordable. And the beautiful thing is, there'll never be a landlord show up. There'll never be an electrical bill. There'll never be a water bill here, and that I really, really love. Okay, here we go. We've got s- uh, Saca Lives or Southern California Lives, not sure. It's been snowing up here in northern Arizona. Oh, okay, not Southern California. It's been snowing up here in northern Arizona last 2 days. Totally makes sense. It's snowing up on the Huachuca Mountains, really, that I can see from my dooryard. Steve Stahl says, "Hey, Don, good to see you. The house looks great. Thanks, Steve. I'm super excited about just getting going on that thing. I'm really, really chomping at the bit to get a lot more finished." Um, Nanny Goat Acre says, Dawn, how is your walleye pond doing lately? Nanny Goat, I've drained it right now because I'm conserving water for a season. And the goal is one of two things. by the way, I'm living off all the rainwater I got in last monsoons. So if that runs dry before the monsoons show up, then I'll fill up the pond again. Otherwise, I'm hoping to have my big home done and gutters on it and getting no end of water from that. And when that happens, I can afford to kick in and to start operating the little pond again and making it really sharp looking all over again. So, anyway, sadly, Little Pond is dry at the moment, but only temporarily. Uh, Rob says, Rob says, how much do you spend in water a year? Thanks, Rob. Well, I'll give you this past year. I bought one shipment of water for $265 last February, I think, and it lasted me to until our monsoon rains happened. They came at the end of June, and they came with a vengeance. So it was great. I was almost out of water with my tank. Again, I bought it in February, the water, and then by end of June, it was I was going through the dregs. I mean, the poor old as I was getting water, but I could practically gurgling because there was hardly any water in there. And right on schedule, the monsoons came in in a couple months. That 1,200-gallon tank was full of clean, fresh rainwater, and that's what I'm using now. And it's great. I love showering with that stuff. Your hair's all soft, and well, what little hair you have, in my case. And it's just great water. So I might be able to get away without a purchase because I've still got, I think, about a quarter of a tank there. And so if I'm really careful, I might get away without a water purchase and and until the monsoons happen. Maybe not. We'll see. But if I do, Rob, if I do purchase, it'll be about $265. And actually, no, I think it's 235. I'm sorry, about 235. And I get 1,600 gallons. And since my little tank only holds 1,200, then and my pond holds around 400, it works perfect. I fill up the pond first, and then the tank second. Um, Midwest Mama's Adventure says we have tornadoes. We had to get in the basement last night, but didn't get hit by one. Oh, good night. That is really scary. Well, I'm glad you're okay. Um, Soca Lives or Soca Lives, Socalives. Not sure how you pronounce that. But anyway, I'll call it Soca Lives. Soca Lives, Apex A all the way. Uh, Super easy. Excellent, thanks. Sandy says no. A they put a commercial in during a live stream. That's different. They've never done that before. I don't know what it was for. So sorry, guys. I'll see if I can fix that next time. I might be able to tick a box that says no commercials, please. Neil says, Don, do you have an approximate date for when the house will be ready for move in? Please keep the content coming. Neil, thank you so much. Wow. I am so forward thinking, I should say. I'm not sure forward thinking is the right way to say that. I'm such a visionary dude. I think I'm in it, by September. But the reality is, so much needs to be done. I'm going to hope this time next year I can live in it. I'm hoping. We'll see. But I mean, can you imagine once the roof's all done and all the plumbing, then we got to do all the wiring, um, and then insulation, and then of course drywall, installing showers and kitchen sinks and on and on and on. So there's a lot that goes on. I had no idea there was so much that goes on with a home and home construction. I had an idea, but you really got to do it to know. Dallas says, "Oh, I see. So it has to be the bare basics without permits. Thanks for explaining. Very cool." Yeah, Dallas. What happens with the county here and the way they're set up? once you have your land, by the way, you have to get the right land to do owner builder opt out. And I knew that before I even knew, I knew all this before I moved from California. I essentially did a lot of research. I think I spent 3 years maybe researching before I moved here. And I watched other people on YouTube, what they did, etc. But what I learned was there's like three categories for your land that are that allow you to do your own construction with the owner builder opt out permitting system. The most common is RU4. It means you have to have 4 acres or more, and then that and then from there you can apply for your owner builder opt out. And this land here, I have 4 acres and it's an RU4. And so I specifically looked for RU4 properties, and I checked with the real estate agent before I purchased this. I double triple checked that this is an RU4 property. And so the county then says, okay, um, uh, fine. Here's how you can start. You can park an RV on here for temporarily while you live in it, and then build your home. And I did things a little differently. I essentially um, put my shed on, because you can put as many sheds as you want to in a rural area like this, as long on your property, as long as they're 200 square feet or less. Okay, so this is a very temporary thing, and the county doesn't ever recommend that you do what I'm doing, but on the other hand, I'm all their focus is on my big home and checking in with me how that's going, because that's going to be my permitted property. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, and so yeah, that's how that works. So Dallas, I hope that makes sense. And I've done a whole video on owner builder opt out, and so you can take a look at it sometime. And if you like, it was done about 3 years ago, I think. And I try my best to answer a lot of questions the about owner builder opt out. And if you ever have any doubts, the counties, even though the government officials are very, very helpful, when I send an email, usually in 24 hours, they've responded. And then, yeah, they're just very helpful. And I appreciate that a lot. Daniel Ruiz, Daniel Ruiz, Ruiz, Daniel Ruiz says, Don, hi, Daniel. And let's see, what else we got going on here? Uh, Yeah, hit the like button. That would be great, because YouTube does do that. So YouTube literally pays me for like buttons, and when you watch commercials, I always recommend people just go let the dog out or get a sandwich and let the commercial play, and then they'll never know. Google won't know or care. So, that type of thing. Or if it's just painful, watch 5 seconds of it and click forward, something like that. Uh, Sunny Sky says, Don, where did you live while in Canada? Sunny Sky, I'm a maritimer, so that means I was born and raised right next to Maine. So state of Maine is here. Oops, here we go. State of Maine is here, and where I'm from, oops, try that again, is right next to it. Not doing that well. That province was called New Brunswick. So I lived in that province for and basically 35 years. Uh, Dallas says, I forgot about the pond. You haven't showed it in a while. Are there fish in there? No, Dallas, it's dry right now, but we'll get it going and it'll be really pretty later on. It's dry because I'm conserving water right at the moment. Stony Creek Homestead Journey says, uh, Don, you can shut off commercials during live event, then turn it back on afterwards, especially if you're monetized. It's important to turn them back on. Got it. Okay. I'll learn to do that. And I hope you guys will forgive me. I don't want to take time right now to learn that, but I will learn it. And then Dallas up there says also, we'll have a look here. No, LA Naplor, I don't want to ignore you. LA Naplor, There's a lot of satisfaction and pride working on your own projects. We enjoy watching you, but sometimes we wish you had someone to assist and spot you if an emergency should arise. Um, that makes sense. The good thing is my neighbors are a lot closer than you think. If I screamed really loud, a neighbor would hear me. I hope I don't have to scream real loud, but anyway. Dallas says, yes, that part of California is very expensive, but beautiful, and it's the perfect weather for me. Not so hot. Beaches are beautiful. I'm originally from Sacramento, so used to go to San Francisco Beach every weekend. Yeah, it's a gorgeous area. It really is, Dallas. But I'll tell you honestly, the freeways have gotten really busy even since I moved here, and I'll tell you, it's so quiet here. I don't really enjoy freeways anymore. That's for sure. Um, Shane Michael says, propane hot weeder, Paloma propane hot weeder. Try that again. Paloma propane hot water heater with on demand 12-volt pump are cheap and easy to hook up. Thanks, Shane. Yeah, I'm still doing research on how all that will work. Um, and then LA Naploris' question, have you considered a roof rack for your car? Um, I haven't honestly. The little Toyota pickup, I mean Corolla, I mean I can put 10-foot lumber in it and I just shove it through right onto the dash and fold down the back seat and right through into the trunk. So it works good. Now let's see. Midwest Mama's Adventures. Are you still turning it into an Airbnb? You know, I am. That's a strong possibility. It really is going to focus more on financially. Do I think that's a good idea? I go back and forth with it. I'd love to just have it for me and friends, but I'm more than likely will end up turning it into an Airbnb. But I'll navigate that when I get to it. But it's something I'm not 100% sure about, but I'm leaning in that direction. That's why I mention it a lot. Nanny Goat Acres says, Dawn, do you prepare meals for yourself or just warm soup and make prepared oatmeal cereals? I remember you have a full kitchen setup, I think. Yeah, I have a beautiful little kitchen setup now. I built this really a couple of videos back. You'll see. I had fun. I built this counter for my dishwasher, a little counter unit. And now I put a nice plexiglass top on it. And so it's easy to clean up. And I have an inductive cooktop and a toaster up there and everything. So no, I'm one of these guys that I eat really well. I'm not like some single dudes who just open up a can of beans occasionally. No, no, I cook. I do my own baked bread. I cook uh, stir fried vegetables and meat meals, and I eat really, really well, and I eat a good variety of stuff. I actually enjoy cooking. Major secret here, I don't have the oven for it yet, but I do deep dish berry pies from scratch, even my own crust. That's how much fun I have with baking. Um, LA Naplor says, Dawn, can you add some more bird and critter footage in your videos? I miss seeing your neighbors. Oh gosh, I'll try that. It takes when you get so focused on building, it's easy to ignore um, the 12 beautiful scaled quail in your bird feeder. And by the way, folks have sent me, and I haven't even been able to thank them properly, suet for bird food, and I really appreciate it. It's in my Amazon wish list, and it's not cheap, but the birds absolutely love it. And and there's always bird stuff going on. I was sitting here in the little cabin the other day with a friend, and I looked out the window, and there was a desert cardinal sitting in a tree, and there's always stuff to see here. No end of wildlife. I never know what's going to come through my yard. Javelina, bobcat, mountain lion a few years ago. There's probably been lions come through since then, but just didn't leave any prints or whatever. So no end of wildlife here, that's for sure. Um, Daniel Ruiz says, Don, how far away is the nearest hospital? Daniel, I'm so fortunate that my doctor in the clinic uh, is really close. I mean, I can be there in 8 minutes in the car. And they can treat me for real basic things if I broke an arm or whatever. But emergency wise, not too far. When I had appendicitis and I drove myself to the hospital, that was in Bisbee, and that was 12 miles away. And that was a fun adventure, stopping occasionally to throw up while my appendix was on the verge of doing bad things. But anyway, I'm fortunate. I'm not very far at all from hospital. Um, Private NYB says, "Hey Don, I'm from Canada, BC. Snowed on Thursday, but back to sunshine and green grass today. Cool. Most of my, a lot of, if not most of my cousins actually live in BC, all over BC. Goodness, Kelowna, Vancouver itself, Quesnel, Prince George, tons of no end of cousins, and BC is amazing. It really is." Charles says, "Don, love your chats with us viewers and answering questions or curiosities we have. High winds in Michigan here also." Veteran Charlie. Um, Big shout out to Charlie. So encouraging. I've never received a comment from Charlie that wasn't made me smile, didn't make me smile, and was uplifting. So thank you, Charlie, and it's so great to see you here. PMLM says, "Hey, from Southern California, you put the shower workshop building on hold in favor of the big house. How is that little tarp shade shelter holding up?" I'm sorry I asked. It's in a shambles. It's broken in about three places, the framework. I've splinted it with PVC pipe and rebar. The tarp itself is getting pretty shredded. It's just not great. Um, so, Spoiler alert, folks, I think what I'm going to end up doing is moving the tools I have in there and the shower I have in there somehow, moving it over to the big home because the big home is at least dry for the most part, even though there's no windows in it right now. So, yeah, I'm pretty much over rebuilding the little tent shed. It's been there for going on 5 years, and I think it was $200 originally, and then I've replaced the tarps 6 times. So I'm at a point where I'm pretty much over it. Midwest Mama's Adventures. Do you think you'll get a cat or dog, or is wildlife enough? Midwest Mama's Adventures. You know what? Pets for me, I'm kind of a soft-hearted old guy. So what happens is I feel so bad when they die. And then the other thing is then if I just want to roar off to and visit friends in California for 10 days, I got to figure out, well, what am I doing with the cat or dog? Um, and I would only do indoor cat because outdoor cats decimate the bird population, and that's a hot topic, so we won't go there. But if I had a cat, it would only be an indoor cat. And dogs, I find they are so responsive to how you feel or interact. That's good, but the bad thing is at 5 in the morning, if they think there's a javelina outside, they're barking their head off, and I'm like, I would have loved to have slept in for another couple hours. Um, and so I just don't find pets a good fit for me because I've got no end to wild friends I can watch, and it makes me totally free to do what I like to do. Urban Carlson says, "I'm good too. Any new houses around you?" Um, None really close by. Some in the area. The area, all of Cochise County is experiencing growth because it's affordable. So not right next to me, but some in the surrounding area. Tim Warner says, "Hi, Don. Thought I'd say hi. Hey, Tim Warner. Tim Warner, another friend from California originally, now lives in Tennessee. I won't tell any more, Tim, because I want to respect your privacy. But so good to see you here, man. And Tim is one of these guys who loves building. He loves building. So whenever Tim says something encouraging about my build, boy, my old heart warms because he knows how to build, as opposed to someone like me who's just kind of learning as I go." All right, we're got about 4 more minutes, folks, before we wrap it up. So if you've got any questions that you've just been dying to ask me, then you'll want to jump on that. Um, PM Ellum says, "Well, I think you got your money's worth out of the shelter." Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, I love this little, oh, yeah, the little tent thing. Yeah, for the amount of money I put into it and, the convenience of being able to use it for showering and stuff. Yeah, I definitely got my money. Tony says, besides animals, do you get any visitors trespassing? Tony, it really varies. I mean, here in southeast Arizona in Cochise County, you're close enough to Mexico. You're going to expect a few folks wandering through. Now, the thing that, unlike the news, and we won't go into that, the news will tell you everyone's dangerous. But if you talk to Border Patrol agents, which I have, 99% of the people are people, usually men in their 20s or 30s or whatever, just looking to find work and they're drifting through. In my yard, it's very rare. I've had it happen a half a dozen times in the 5 years almost I've been here, but I've never had any negative experiences. And the other thing is, um, I need to be better about not leaving tools around, but I've never lost any, even a screwdriver at this point. So overall, it's a very, very safe area, much safer than, let's say, a suburban area in the U.S. that's more built up. Because you just never know, especially with drugs and stuff, you never know who's going to come drifting by with their car, look at your home and go, I wonder who lives there and what I can find. So overall, it's very, very quiet and very safe. Um, Shane says, "Yeah, get a girlfriend instead of a pet." Well, depending on the couples you talk to, some people wish they would have just done a pet. That's kind of mean. I'm sorry. No, I appreciate the freedom to be a single dude and just be able to make choices and just go for it and do what I need to and that kind of thing. So it's pluses and minuses. You miss the companionship, of course, but it's pluses and minuses. Jalen says, "How much is your land tax?" Um, it's really, really stupidly inexpensive. I think the last time I paid for my land taxes, it was around $300 for the year. Um, Dallas says, "Thanks for the live, Don. Can't wait for the next step in your build video." Yep, I'm going to try to crank one out by no later than Tuesday, so stay tuned. Wayne says, hello, Wayne and Leanne in Borger, Texas. Been watching for years. Keep wanting to jump to the TV and help. Please keep being you. Oh, that is so fun, Wayne. I have that a lot. People are like, oh my gosh, man, why don't you get someone to help you? You're an old person. Why are you doing that? And the only thing I can explain is it's kind of like you went to a sculpting class and you're working with a sculpture, like say modeling clay sculpture of some sort, and somebody comes up and goes, "Well, no, you shouldn't. I'll help you with that." And you're like, "Excuse me?" That takes the fun out of it. So anyway, um, let's see. Shane says, "I lose a hand tool every time I open the toolbox." Yeah, I can lose them too for sure. I keep pretty good care of my tools. Ed Travis says, "You need to do a live every month, and YouTube does not always let me know when you're going live." Yeah, Ed, I don't understand. I mean, if you click the notification bell, you should be able to be notified, but maybe it's something with lives that you don't get notified with lives. I just don't know. I better look into that. And every month, yeah, if folks want one, I could try to do one once a month. And if they don't get tired of hearing me ramble on. K6 KWI Neil says, "Great live stream. Thanks for taking the time, Don." Oh, no, thank you, Neil. It's fun for me. I would just appreciate you taking time out of your Saturday to come by. Folks have got things to do, so I appreciate you coming by. George, no, sorry, the Cruise and Crew, fantastic stuff you're doing. I have sent you an email. Okay, super. I'll just check that out. George says, "Thanks, Don. Keep up the good work and content. Be safe and God bless and protect you." Thank you, George, and may God bless and protect you too. PM Elam says, "I look forward to the next time you sing as you work." That is so kind. Anyway, yeah, I just love singing. So. Wayne says, "I'm gone. I enjoy the live." Bye, Wayne. Thanks for coming by. Daniel says, Don, keep up the great work. We were worried about you when you were off a bit. Yeah, yeah. It just, start life circumstances, and now I'm back full speed ahead. Dave G says, Don, great videos. Keep them coming. Thanks, Dave from Ontario, California. Thanks, Dave, for coming by. Steve Stahl says, working by yourself is much safer from a liabilities perspective. Yeah, that's true. I won't get sued. Let's just sue myself. Danny says, you're only as old as you feel. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Denny. Sorry, pardon me, Denny. I called you Danny, but Denny, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, and I find honestly uh I just the harder I work, then the happier I am, and the my body feels better. I have one of these kind of physiques that I'm thankful for, that the harder it's worked and I rest appropriately, then the happier I am, and the better I sleep and the more energy I have, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the story. Um, so, folks, thank you very, very much for coming by. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. And again, if you've got further questions, you can email me. And I'm so thankful you all came by, all 101 of you. So, thanks again, and we'll see you on another video or another live. Cheers.